Hey there. So I've got a super simple little project here that I'm gonna do today. That little cart that you see behind me, someone just abandoned it on our doorstep. We were looking at it and going, well, should we throw it away or can we use it for something? And then we thought,
Buckle up your seat as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
you know those carts that you see in like Home Depot and Lowe's and whatnot that that you can stack like plywood in or drywall or whatever, you know, full sheets? We thought we could make a mini version out of this. Especially since I've still got some of the steel left over from the awning that I was working on, from that steel that I was reclaiming from all the packing material for that big CNC machine that we got. Yeah, we're gonna repurpose this little guy into a mini version of a Home Depot lumber / plywood cart. It'll be good for moving ladders around, our scaffolding, or if we're moving sheets of plywood or drywall around. And it comes with that basket that can either sit in the top or the bottom. Like we can have it on the bottom and put sheets of stuff in there and still put other stuff on the side on the basket. It'll be pretty versatile, I think. We want an 8-inch gap in between here. So I cut this block of wood at 8 inches and I'm just gonna use this to mark my lines. Like that. See my line there and my line there. There's my 8-inch gap. I'm just gonna repeat that on the other side. Now it's kind of hard to measure off the curve, but my eyeball is usually pretty good at these things. A little to the left. Yep, that is looking pretty centered right there. Doesn't have to be exact, just close, really close, like that. Now, before I cut myself, I'll dress the edges of that, the sharp corners, to make them a little safer, and I will take the paint off so that I can weld to it. Okay, with this taken care of now, I am going to actually take a couple pieces of that 1x2 and I'm gonna put them in down here. This is part of the cart itself. If we start putting heavy loads on this and that starts to actually force that down, these are gonna be pinched into the sides. When Mark and I were looking at this thing and brainstorming, we came up with the idea that we should put another piece across here that will support the weight of our load. Then all of this will be much stronger and there'll be much less of an inclination for this thing to want to pinch in when we load it heavy. All right, I used my 1x1 offcuts as my spacers for the bottom and I've tack welded those into place. I'll finish up the welding up on the bench, not on the floor, because you know, bending over and all that. So my next pieces are gonna be a 1x2 piece. It's gonna go from here to there. So I need 4 of those. Well, more often than not, these projects are not linear. I don't start them and finish them on the same day. Sometimes I do, but not always. This one, for instance, I started it, it's been at least a week ago, and a lot of other things have come up and I've had to deal with those, and now I'm getting back to this one. So, let's continue.
It's hard to measure off the curve at the top, and with this cart being, well, probably 30 years old, there's a very good chance that these sides aren't even straight anymore. So I'm just going for a parallel. And at this point, I'm just tack welding everything into place. I'm not doing my final welds yet. I'm using magnets instead of clamps. I love magnets, especially for lighter weight stuff like this. It allows me a lot of adjustability in a dynamic sense. I don't have to unclamp and reclamp. I can just move stuff. And yeah, just getting it perfectly positioned before I hit it with a welder.
Okay, everything's tack welded into place. I'm at that point where I can just layer down and move it all around and go to town and hit all the welds. I think that calls for some music. We're getting there. Starting to look like a mini Home Depot lumber cart. I'm gonna take the sanding disc to it and just clean it up a little bit where it needs it. Not so much the welds, but there's other areas where there's like 20-year-old tape on here that literally does not peel off. So I gotta sand those spots off. And once it's prepped, I'm gonna paint it. Just in case I failed to mention it and you were wondering what color I was going to paint it, there you go. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so. Have a great day.